Hey friends, welcome to One Little Coder. In this video, we are going to see about the biggest hype of this time, which is GPT-3. GPT-3 is actually a language model that was released, not exactly released, but that was created by OpenAI. OpenAI is an organization, if you remember, it has a history where OpenAI was created to curb the advances of artificial intelligence and singularity, but right now they are into a different purpose, but that is why OpenAI was created, and big names were involved initially. So let's come back to GPT-3. So what is GPT-3? So GPT-3 is part of a series of language models that OpenAI initially developed and then OpenAI released. So OpenAI started with GPT-1, GPT-2 and then GPT-3, and you can read about OpenAI's language models in their website. So that it's basically a language model, text generation model, where you give an input text like this, and it gives you an output text. So you can see the example here. You give an input text, it gives you an output text. So coming to specifically with GPT-3, why GPT-3 is very popular? GPT-3 is very popular because what OpenAI actually did is, OpenAI, instead of releasing the model, in fact they released the model, then they archived it. You can see it on their GitHub page. So instead of releasing the model completely, what they actually did is they created an OpenAI API with a beta waiting list. So a lot of people had requested access based on what they could build with GPT-3. OpenAI gave them access, and the astonishing thing is what people actually built with OpenAI. And there are a lot of people have created collections that would show you what people have developed with GPT-3 OpenAI API. So you can see examples like someone, I'll particularly show you this particular example where someone tells in English what they want, and like this OpenAI, a button that looks like a watermelon, and this person's name is Sharif Shamim, and OpenAI GPT-3 OpenAI's API actually builds that with respect to CSS, and he also extended it with a React app and a lot of other things. And it's not the only thing that people used GPT-3 to create. People have used GPT-3 to create a lot of other things. For example, you just simply give a text and then that creates an ML code, or you can give words that would create actually copy for a website, which means it can create copy for a website also, but it can also create a website. So there are a lot of such examples that has made GPT-3, you give natural language and then it gives you an SQL. So a lot of things that OpenAI's API managed to do in a very short amount of time, where people did not have to do anything at all. The reason is because OpenAI's GPT-3 language model has been trained with the entire, or at least I would say most of the text that is available in the world, which means it has got every sort of text. It has got computer code, programming code in it. It has got normal newspaper text in it. It has got news in it. It has got Wikipedia text. It has got almost a lot of text that you would have. And one of the most renowned machine learning explainer, Jay Alamar, so he recently created an animation that would basically give you a high level overview of how GPT-3 works. So you give a text, input text, that's called a prompt. So you're ideally trying to tell GPT-3 that after this what is going to come, and then GPT-3 does some kind of calculation and then it's going to say. So the other astonishing thing is GPT-3 is estimated to have the training estimated to have costed around 355 GPU years, which is approximately 4.6 million American dollars. So which is a huge cost, which brings a different question altogether. How can OpenAI successfully serve this API for all these things that people are going to use it for? But given the impressive set of results, for example, if you have trained model based on that text, when you say second law of robotics, the correct next output is A. Second law of robotics colon and then A, then the next output should be robot. So this is how any natural language generation NLG works, and GPT-3 again is the most advanced as far as I know, or at least at this point is the most advanced thing that you can have a language generation model do it. So there are a lot of examples. So I would link all these websites just below the like button. You can have a look at it, what kind of things people have actually built using GPT-3. So people have built apps where you just have to talk and then you have to create. People have created papers, people have created websites, people have created bots that can write computer codes. So people have created every sort of thing that you can actually possibly imagine. So you can see here how Google ads are written by GPT-3. So you just have to give all these things, and GPT-3 basically creates the ad that you want. But the problem is, can you actually trust completely GPT-3? And that is where I want to end this video with this article by Max Wolf, who's popularly known as Mini Maxer. So this is a very nice article that says tempering expectations for GPT-3 and OpenAI's API. So he is also one of the person who got the beta access. So you could actually go to his Twitter feed and then see a lot of GPT-3 generated tweets. But the main thing is the points that he's trying to bring out to say that why GPT-3 may have all these problems. And you can also see that the caveats that GPT-3 has is model latency, selection bias. You'd never know like what kind of data it has been trained with. And the other thing is everyone has got the same model. So you and I will have the same model, and what we bring out with this is completely going to be different. And so it can also, so you might remember the Microsoft Tay bot, which ended up being a sexist, racist bot. So you have all these problems because you have no information about what kind of training data went through it. And OpenAI is not claiming that it is a production ready solution. So I would like to highlight that point. But the thing is, the amount of technology that has gone behind this thing, and the amount of accuracy and the coherence in which GPT-3 generates text, that text could be anything, any language, programming language, or whatever it could be, is really astonishing. I would definitely link all these examples, the links that we just discussed, and I hope this video gives you a slight primer about GPT-3 and its expectations and what kind of things that you can expect or not expect from GPT-3. And if you are interested, you can go here in OpenAI's blog, which is also something that I would link just below the like button. You can join the waiting list and request for an API in case if you are lucky, or if you have a very good use case, they would give you the API access and you can play around with that. So I hope this video was helpful understanding what is GPT-3 and what is the hype all about. If you have any question, or if you have read something else interesting about GPT-3, please let me know in the comment section. Until that, see you, take care.